All right, in some of the least surprising news in a while, hope you had a good weekend, by the way. It turns out the suspect in the 2021 attempted pipe bombing on the eve of the January 6th riots appears to be a Trump supporter who was disappointed by the results of the 2020 election and believed Donald Trump's lie that he was the rightful and true winner of the 2020 election, not Joe Biden. Now, I know that the MAGAs and the Magadonians and the Magapotamians, all of them, and Trump himself are not taking this news well. As a reminder, the suspect is 30-year-old Brian Cole. He would have been about 25 years old at the time of the attempted pipe bombing. If you've forgotten the details because it's been so long, it has taken so long to find the alleged perpetrator. He is accused of leaving one explosive device outside of the Republican National Committee and one explosive device outside of the Democratic National Committee. Now, thankfully, the devices did not explode. We don't yet know the motive for the attempted bombing, but we have a lot of information about the suspect. Now, two law enforcement sources said on Friday that the suspect is believed to be a supporter of President Donald Trump. Even Jeanine Pirro, the former judge, former Fox News host, now the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, that Jeanine Pirro, big Trump supporter, even she says that the suspect was, quote, disappointed in the 2020 election results, the election won by Joe Biden, which did not allow Donald Trump to remain as president of the United States. She also added that it isn't clear if he is a supporter one way or the other, but there is a whole bunch of other reporting saying that the suspect is indeed a Trump supporter. There is, of course, innocence until guilt has been proven. This is the United States of America. But I will tell you what law enforcement says they have on the guy. Number one, cell phone records showing him in the relevant areas at the relevant time. Number two, his car was nearby, as evidenced by license plate readers. Number three, there are records of the alleged pipe bomber, the alleged attempted pipe bomber, buying components that ultimately found their way into the pipe bombs and were found at the sites. If you look at the surveillance video, Cole is wearing very noticeable particular shoes, and he has reportedly admitted to investigators that he got rid of those shoes after the incident. It's alleged that he is saying, yes, those were my shoes. I got rid of them in order to distance myself from the evidence. Now, even without the pipe bombs having exploded, thankfully, the potential sentence here is 20 years in prison. Now, there's a couple important takeaways, and he's going to get his day in court. The investigation continues. We will ultimately, hopefully, know more about the motive. But there, for me, are two really important takeaways here. Number one, violence and these sorts of conspiracy theories, like election conspiracy theories, are not disconnected. And one of the reactions that we often get is like, okay, listen, flat Earth is not a very serious conspiracy theory. No one's going to be hurt or killed because some people believe that the Earth is flat. To which, when we have interviewed conspiracy theory experts in the past, they say, yeah, no, I mean, like in a direct sense, it's not like a conspiracy theory about Jews, which might directly lead you to commit violence against Jews. It's not that. Flat Earth isn't that. But there are these sort of Venn diagrams where some of these beliefs overlap with other beliefs. And if you believe that the Earth is flat, what else do you believe? And do those other beliefs connect to violence? That's an example. In this particular case, we sometimes hear, listen, you can believe that Trump won the 2020 election and not want to go and commit violence or do anything about it to anybody else. And of course, in most cases, that would be true. But the point here is a suspect, if we're thinking stochastically, if enough people become convinced that the election really was stolen by Joe Biden and that Donald Trump should be president starting in January of 2021, some of those people will go and take certain actions. And while we are still waiting on the motive, we know more and more about the political beliefs of this of the alleged pipe bomber. We see that the election conspiracies can indeed connect. And the fact that the guy allegedly turned his belief about the 2020 election into part of an environment that got him into pipe bomb making, targeting both major parties, is just a reminder that denying reality and subscribing to conspiracy theories can morph into real world violence. That's takeaway number one. And then number two, when we consider unchecked conspiracy-driven rage and the effects that it can have, yes, it can lead to angry tweets and turning X into a cesspool of bottom-feeding right-wing conspiracy theories, sure. But it can also point in the direction of attempted mass violence. And so this should really be a cautionary tale about radicalization and the dehumanization of political opponents, which, even though this will get us to something we'll talk about later in the show, even though she's now kind of doing her mea culpa apology tour, I don't totally buy it from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she participated in some of that same sort of radicalizing content and becoming a purveyor of the sorts of ideas that may have led the alleged pipe bomber to go from, I have a belief that Biden is not the rightful winner of the election, to, I'm going to put together pipe bombs and leave them at the RNC and the DNC. So that's the latest. Trump doesn't like it. The MAGAs are insisting the guy was a Democrat, but the evidence simply does not point in that direction. There is something about winter that makes warm bread and pastries at home feel nicer than ever, and that is what you get with Wild Grain. No effort or cooking. Our sponsor, Wild Grain, is the first bake from frozen subscription box for real artisanal breads, pastries, and handmade pastas, all ready in 25 minutes or less. No prep, no cleanup. Everything's made with clean ingredients and a slow fermentation process that adds depth of flavor. I recently tried the cranberry pecan rolls. Some say pecan, I say pecan. They came out with a soft center, crisp edge, and the house just smelled great. I also love their Parmesan herb biscuits. Definitely check those out. You can also customize your box. They've got gluten-free. They've got plant-based. You can send it as a gift or send a gift card for the holidays. If you're looking for the perfect way to elevate cozy nights at home during the holidays, give Wild Grain a try. Get $30 off your first box plus free croissants for life at wildgrain.com/Pakman. The link is in the description.